This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
Dad is dead. There is a dog.
You bought strawberries. Who do you think you are?
You buy homemade bread?
What are you, QAnon?
What makes him happy?
Not being in this movie?
Not being in this movie.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It's time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall. Oh, excuse me. Let me do that again. Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello. And
Your voice is still changing.
You know what?
That's funny. This is actually...
You know what? I kind of got in my head. Like for a second, this is like an actor thing. What happens sometimes? I kind of got in my head. Like I was thinking I might make a mistake saying it, and there I did.
But this was actually our second take anyway, because take number one I froze. So,
but you didn't freeze. The connection froze. In this case, Kurt kind of froze.
Oh,
yeah.
True.
Kurt got stage
fright. You had. I more had the acting error, or we could say the broadcasting error.
Broadcasting, because we are broadcasters.
Oh,
yes.
Yes. It's okay.
Well, the Christmas season is here on Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel. The Christmas movies have started in full swing. Yeah.
In full suckiness.
Yes. Well, you know what?
Give it away.
You know what, though? I'm wondering if maybe they're starting out, since we are pre-Thanksgiving, maybe they're starting out with their more lackluster movies.
I don't think that would be a good strategy, though, because I would think that if you're trying to get the word out, remind people like, hey, we're a destination for this. Look how great we are. You don't want to put something that you aren't confident in being good. You want to put something good out front so people are like, oh, yeah, that's right. Hallmark. We got to start watching these Hallmark movies again.
Well,
Hallmark.
You noticed.
Hallmark.
I didn't know if on your TV, because I didn't know what your what your cable network is. Mm-hmm. But on mine, they are really pushing that Jordan Sparks movie.
Oh yeah, that's Hallmark doing that. That's not the cable operator doing that.
They are really I think every Jordan commercial, Sparks. I think every other commercial was that ad.
Well, I think movie. That's their next big one. That's this weekend, I believe.
Right.
But this one,
Jordan Sparks.
What is the name of the one we watched? Oh, Next Stop Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say their ad could be Hallmark. We show our shitty holiday movies in November.
Yeah, like to clear your palate.
Stay tuned.
Because you know how
you can appreciate the December ones.
Because you know how in movie theaters they show all of the shitty movies in January.
Right, but that's because they know no one is going to the theater. This is Hallmark wanting to advertise, hey, come watch our network this entire season. They're not going to put something out that they aren't confident is going to bring people in.
You know what? You know where they dropped the ball? They should have had Michael J. Fox in this movie, too.
Do you mean the 8-ball?
True, the 8-ball. They right. Oh, because, there was...
Drop the 8-ball.
That's a cocaine reference. That's a drug reference. This movie, Next Stop Christmas on Hallmark, and we'll get into it as we start talking about it. But they were talking so fast throughout the entire movie. Not a single beat of this movie had a moment to breathe.
None. And the scary thing is towards the end of the movie, I started I understood it, because at first I had to really listen, and then towards the end of the movie, I guess I got used to it because it just kind of normalized itself.
I think just at the end there were some beats where it wasn't as frenetic, where maybe they finally figured out the rhythm in the last fifth of the movie.
Right.
Well,
'Cause-
the actors are probably in a hurry. They just wanted to get through this and get out.
yeah.
Or there was a director. All the director. The only thing the director knew how to do is faster.
Yeah. Well, that is a comedy note that is given a lot, is faster is funnier. And that's true to a point. But when you're getting so fast that it seems insane and it doesn't feel grounded anymore, that's what this movie felt like, is they were trying to fit in so much dialogue and useless exposition and pointless plot diversions and
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's like Aaron Sorkin wrote it or something like that. It's dense dialogue, but he didn't.
Even on Aaron Sorkin, like there's moments where stuff breathes. They're not speaking at a rapid pace in every moment.
That movie, The Social Network, I think it was called. I remember that was like dialogue. There was only like one little scene that was where it actually like rested. You could take a breath and it went on and on, which I like that movie. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Well, they say that all of Shonda Rhimes' TV shows have like the Shonda Rhimes rhythm where it's a little faster, but you can still understand them.
Yeah. And again, there are beats in those shows where they're more dramatic and they're taking their time. Same Gilmore Girls, Amy Sherman Palladino, who does Gilmore and Mrs. Maisel. It's rapid dialogue, but then there's beats where, okay, we're going to talk now and take it in and have a real conversation. Not this movie.
I was an extra on Miss Maisel.
Oh my God, you met Midge?
No. I didn't meet anybody, but actually, I didn't get to be on. I was on the set, but they didn't actually put me in the shot. But I looked out the bus window and I saw people from the cast.
I love Midge.
That was all right.
That's coming back soon.
They put me in the whole outfit. I got dressed up in the whole.
Are there photos of
outfit
this?
Of the era. I think I have photos of that. Yeah, but that'd be good for our Instagram from a couple years ago.
Yes.
But they didn't actually put me in the shot.
It's
Pay me.
That's good that you got paid. Speaking of getting paid, you got any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
Blac Chyna report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
dailymail.co.uk. It's a very reliable source for Blac Chyna news. Well, Blac Chyna showcases her killer curves in a nearly see-through Fendi catsuit while performing at celebrity boxing event in Atlantic City. So she was in New Jersey, my hometown, where I am right now. While patrons gathered to see a celebrity boxing showdown, Blac Chyna put on a show of her own in a skin-tight Fendi catsuit. The 33-year-old former partner of Rob Kardashian performed in the ring at the boxing event, which was held at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City Saturday evening. This was last. Looks like it was last Saturday evening. Though no big names faced off in the ring, the event tapped the likes of Blac Chyna to appear, as well as Reverend Run's son JoJo Simmons. All kinds of pictures in here. You see, Blac Chyna is a full-figured woman.
Who is boxing?
Curvy model. What's that?
Who were the celebrities that were boxing?
I don't know if they say that, but it does say the curvy model, real name Angela White, was seen showcasing her killer curves in a ribbed Fendi catsuit, which she wore with a pair of Chanel sneakers. Her ever-changing hair was styled in a short bob, and she rocked bedazzled glasses, serving a look that seemed loosely reminiscent of Edna Mode's from The Incredibles.
Do you get that reference, Kurt? Did you see The Incredibles?
I've never seen it.
Oh my God, Kurt.
I've never seen it.
Kurt, do yourself right now. Go and Google Edna from The Incredibles.
Kurt,
and then just picture Blac Chyna dressed like that.
You got to Google it right now.
I'm looking it up right now. So Edna from Edna the Incredible. Yeah, this is Edna Incredible. Sorry, here we go. Okay. This is live Googling. Let's see. I see. Yeah. It does. She does look like her a little bit.
Oh, she does?
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
Well, let me see. I mean, gotta check. Yeah, because her hair is like that. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
It's probably a wig, but yeah, she does look like that a little bit. Is this Linda Hunt? does the voice?
No, it's not Linda Hunt that does the voice, but it does look a little bit like Linda Hunt. Yeah. So imagine anyone
Linda
listening. Imagine Linda Hunt,
Edna.
but dressed as Blac Chyna.
Man, I love Linda Hunt. All right, so let's see. So Chyna spiced things up, but she rapped her song "Thick," featuring Designer with 2 eyes, and was surrounded by a slew of curvy ladies who she seductively. Yeah, I see. There's a picture here of these ladies, and yeah, she seductively danced upon during some parts. At one point, she did a bit of twerking and showed off a glimpse of her backside in the nearly see-through number. Yeah, wow, this is quite a scene. There's lots of photos here, so you want to check out dailymail.co.uk, and there's a lot going on.
I'm looking at her as Edna right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, a crowd of people ringside seemed to enjoy her performance as they hyped her up and recorded the number with their cell phones. The event was presented by Bitcoin Rodney with Rich Dollars as a celebrity referee, and appearances from JoJo Simmons, Peter Guns doing a night of exciting fights and special musical performances, and then it goes on about the legal issues. But it's definitely the main point here is what she was wearing, what she was doing.
It's so wild to me that they talk about her performing at a celebrity boxing match, but never once tell us who these celebrities that are boxing are.
No,
right.
I didn't know there'd be interest. I should look that up.
Well, because when you hear celebrity boxing, it's like, okay, who is it? Like,
Let me see. I'm going to try to find out.
Like two TV stars from the 80s?
It's always going to be someone that's like maybe a little bit unstable that's already in the public eye, like an Aaron Carter or something like that.
Like Joey Lawrence or
I think Joey Lawrence is considered unstable.
Here's one here. I think this is it here. Joey Lawrence, do you think he'd be involved in this?
No.
Maybe
Aaron Carter would definitely be involved in it.
Oh my God, I think Aaron Carter is here.
See? Yeah, Aaron Carter does those all the time. So does
Lamar. This is from June 11th, but it was Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter.
It was. Okay. He hyped that fight on Wendy Williams.
But that was June. So I'm trying to see who it was, who actually was in the boxing match last weekend in Atlantic City. Anybody who knows, call in. Let's see.
To the phone number that we don't have?
I know my friend Samaj listens. Samaj, if you're listening and shoot me a message. Let me know.
Speaking of inquiring minds here,
Marlon Wayans.
I have a question for Les.
Yeah.
We've talked about Wendy Williams a lot on this show. What is going on with her right now? Because she hasn't returned to her show yet. She hasn't had a season premiere.
Right. They keep on saying that she's ill, but they're not giving many details. And they keep on giving dates. Like, she was originally supposed to come back in September. Mm-hmm. Then they said October 4th. Mm-hmm. Then they said October 18th. Mm-hmm. Now they're saying that she won't be back until December. And when, by the time December comes around, why bother? Because you have 2 weeks and then it's vacation.
Yeah, I wonder if her health is in worse shape than she had been letting on, or if this is somehow a contract negotiation, maybe a combination of the two.
I think it's health because they have shown tabloid pictures of her being carted around in a wheelchair.
Mm.
But I'm getting very disgruntled, and she better come back because get this. Sherry Shepherd was the guest host last week for an entire week, and the ratings with Sherry Shepherd were better than the ratings with Wendy.
Well, I mean, she was on The View for many years. She certainly has a daytime following.
And because I watched it, Sherry Shepherd did a great job, as did Leah Remini the week before. So, Wendy, you better come back.
Yeah.
I think I got the information. It looks like it's Peter Guns versus Mike Tyson Davis. Do we know who these people are?
Mike Tyson Davis?
I don't know. This is Mike Tyson. It says Peter Guns versus Mike Tyson Davis. And that's who is at
Mike
celebrity.
Mike
somebody
Tyson.
with the name Mike Tyson.
He's likely not at all related to the Mike Tyson boxer that we all know. He's likely somebody named for him.
This is some celebrity.
Wow.
I would be afraid. I'd be afraid to get hit by someone named Peter Guns because his arms are probably like really like Popeye arms. Like,
or maybe he just brings a gun in the ring.
No, right? That's cheating. If they do like obscure podcasters boxing, I'm not going to take part because I'm afraid I'll get punched in the face.
I don't know that would be a draw.
Well, that's probably why I haven't had any.
Well,
offers.
what if though you were in a boxing match with a Hallmark star that we've disparaged?
Such
I could go
as
up against
From a movie that made us mad. So you'd be like hyped up because it's a movie that pissed us off.
oh,
I could go up against David Rosen. We could.
Oh,
Yeah,
not our
right.
friend David Rosen.
Well, he might kick my ass. We don't know. I'm saying for the boxing. It's a podcast or boxing match.
Oh. Who would I go up against?
I probably would go against David. We're probably about the same like height. So.
Oh. Well, David, if
No, but I don't. Now I know. I don't know why I'm selling this. I think it's a bad idea.
David, if you're listening. Anywho, speaking of making you mad, well, the movie didn't make me mad.
it made me a little mad.
The movie had me scratching my head a lot.
Should we plug David's podcast since we just mentioned?
Yes,
him?
of course.
Yeah. What's the name of his podcast? I can't remember. It's Pieces, something like that. Picking up the pieces. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
No,
I'll
it
find it.
is. And he talks about movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to.
I'm looking it up right now. Oh, Piecing It Together
Yes.
podcast. David Rosen.
Thank
There you
you.
go. There you go. Okay.
Yes,
Back on track.
listen to that podcast. David Rosen is a great guy, and he's done this podcast a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, give it a listen. He's one of our podcast friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, shall we pull the Band-Aid off?
Yeah.
Sure.
Before we get into this Hallmark movie, Next Stop Christmas, I should preface that one of my favorite movies of all time is Back to the Future.
Mine too.
And so when you
Yes,
sold
me
this
too.
to us as it's a time travel movie on Hallmark that happens to feature Christopher Lloyd and Leah Thompson, my antenna were already up.
But I didn't know about you, but when I saw the name, I was kind of like, oh my God, this is going to be like, I got a little excited. Like, oh my God, this is going to be good.
No, I was more cautious.
Yeah.
And Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies as well. And I love Christopher Lloyd. When Christopher Lloyd is good, he's really good.
Yeah.
He's good in this, sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this movie kind of wanted to be Back to the Future and Quantum Leap.
Ugh.
And,
Oh, it did have a little
No.
quantum leap quality to it. You're right.
It
because,
doesn't. Yeah.
R.I.P. Dean Stockwell, by the way.
oh,
Just died this week.
Dean Stockwell.
That I love Blue Velvet.
Is Dean Stockwell in that, or is that just a non sequitur?
He was in Blue Velvet.
Okay.
Yeah. He was.
But this
Not
movie
to change the
was
subject, but
right.
I love Blue Velvet. Yeah.
This
Okay.
movie was a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
was a-
things.
It was a lot.
Yeah, my theory is they were trying to do so much that rather than edit their script and edit their footage that they had, they just tried to throw it all in as quickly as possible.
Right. So we start off. We're in a hospital. Our heroine is very busy and she's saving lives. She's a surgeon. And so she's very busy, very busy. The surgery is a success, and she takes her surgical mask off, and it's Colleen from Young and the Restless.
Oh,
Yes.
Who knew?
not
so
me.
it's Christmas time. It's Christmas, like her phone. It's Christmas time. Her phone keeps on ringing. It's a picture of her dad, who I thought was kind of sexy and had a good head of hair. And so she keeps on ignoring the phone. And then her mom and sister call, and her mom is Marty McFly's mother
Leah
from
Thompson.
Back to the Future.
Also known as
Yes.
Caroline in this city.
Yes.
And she was naked in all the right moves. And the duck.
Oh, Howard
And so-
the Duck.
Some kind of wonderful.
Yes.
Some kind of wonderful.
Yeah, she did
Remember?
several like John Hughes movies and those kind of things.
Howard the Duck. Anyway,
Is that
That's
song by
fun.
Thomas Dolby? I remember he did the music for Howard the Duck.
all I remember is Holly Robinson, I think, was in Howard the Duck as well.
Wow. I've actually never seen it.
Tim Robbins.
You've never seen Howard the Duck? I thought
No.
well, there was a time on cable that they'd play it like 50 times a day, like on HBO or one of those shows.
That's where I saw it, yeah. Tim Robbins is in it. It was like when he was like really young. It was like one of his first movies.
Isn't that one of the top 10 worst movies ever made, I think? Seriously.
It didn't do well. It didn't do wonders for Lee Thompson's movie career, unfortunately.
Well,
But what are you gonna do?
but as I was saying before we started taping, she's very pretty. Mm-hmm. And then she's 60, and I was like, oh my god, like for 60, she looks great.
Yeah.
Because she pretty much looks the same, and you can tell that she hasn't had a lot of work done, if any.
I think she's had good work done.
Okay, which nothing wrong with good work. She still looks like herself.
Yes.
If that makes any sense. Because there's some of these people that they don't look like themselves anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Grey.
But yeah, she
does
still
not
looks like
Jennifer
herself.
Grey.
Yeah. So then, right, nobody puts baby in a corner. Nope.
She walks out of the corner. We can't recognize her anymore.
So then her mom and sister are on the phone, and they're asking her if she is coming home for Christmas, but her answer is, I'm very busy. Because, you know, she's a Hallmark heroine, so she's very busy. So then we find out that her parents are actually getting divorced.
And they said the word. They didn't
I
they
know.
didn't dance around it. They came right out and said that Leah Thompson and the guy that Les thinks had a good head of hair, they're getting a divorce.
Well, you know,
That
now that
man-
Winnie Cooper is leaving and it's going to be an all-new Hallmark, maybe, you know, that's part of it.
That man looked like Tim Allen and Treat Williams had a baby, and then the baby had that disease where you age really quickly.
I thought he looked like a
What?
poor man's Beau Bridges.
I like
Or Jeff
Beau
Bridges,
Well, I
rather.
like Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, he
poor
looks like a
man's?
poor man's Jeff Bridges.
Because I like Jeff Bridges.
poor man's Jeff Bridges. Okay.
Yeah.
This is mean. Beau Bridges is a poor man's Jeff Bridges. I don't mean. Beau Bridges is cool. He's cool. I like him.
I met Jeff
a good
Bridges
actor.
once.
He's a very good actor.
He was very cute,
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
That's nice. I'm just, yeah.
So then Angie, who was Colleen from Young and the Restless, our heroine, was talking to her best friend, her best surgeon friend, her best sassy surgeon friend, Sabrina.
Yeah. And they were drinking hard liquor. That was another thing pretty
Oh,
early
yeah.
on in the movie. Like, they haven't fully avoided that in Hallmark movies, but usually it's like wine or champagne. You rarely see them imbibing in real spirits.
Oh no!
But they were having
post-surgery
martinis.
and they were knocking him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Angie starts talking about her ex-boyfriend who got away, and he's like the newscaster in New York, and so he's all over the place, and it's almost like he's tormenting her because it's everywhere. There's posters everywhere, kind of like me and the TV show Hacks. That was tormenting me because I auditioned for Hacks and I didn't
right.
get it.
What role?
Her assistant.
Oh. The role that Carl Clemens Hopkins is playing?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I didn't get it. Fine. We all know that's just part of the deal. But fucking everybody started talking about that goddamn TV show. There were billboards everywhere. There was a billboard, like I could walk out of my house and see a billboard.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck you, Gene Smart. Stop tormenting me.
It's not her
And I
fault.
like you, Gene Smart.
Not her fault. Don't be that a Gene.
I do like Gene Smart. Gene Smart is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
So I knew how Angie felt.
Yeah.
So So then Sabrina, you could tell that they were trying to be with it and very 2021 because Sabrina's like, they're talking about the guy and Sabrina's like, I'll check his status. Mm-hmm. And so then she goes, not only were they knocking him back, they decided to have more. So like, I guess it was Lindsay's turn, or no, it was Angie's turn to get the next round. So Angie goes to get the next round, and as she's ordering her drinks, she bumps into Will from Days of Our Lives. Wow. Sammy's son. He's Sammy's son.
Oh.
And
I didn't know this.
But his name is Ben in this movie. And so we find out that Ben has actually been in town for like 6 months without calling her, which is a problem because her and Ben were basically best friends growing up to the point that when they were kids, Ben's parents died and her parents... Exactly. And so her parents kind of took him in. That's how close they were. And so we find out that Ben is a lawyer, but he's corporate law, but he had always wanted to do family law.
And Ben is straight.
Okay, so here's the deal. On Days of Our Lives, he is a gay character on Days of Our Lives.
Well, my friend was watching the movie with me again last night, and he started just like Googling him and like found his Facebook page. He's like, "Oh, this guy's gay and woke as fuck."
And let's not make fun of Will Horton because he did save the world because he did catch one of the Alamanian jewels when the Alamains were going to blow up the world.
Yeah, that's one.
So you know
what? No, do I want to ask about this?
Beyond Salem, the spinoff of Days of Our Lives, Will Horton helped save the world.
Oh, well, I guess we should be grateful.
Because he was working with the ISA with Agent Billy Reed, Lisa Rinna.
ISA.
A lot of information.
Well,
this is even more exposition than this movie had.
Right. Well, the ISA, they're spies.
I'm afraid to ask for more details because it's
the International Service Agency. Because on General Hospital, so on Days of Our Lives, there's the ISA, and on General Hospital, it's the WSB, the World Service Bureau.
Mm-hmm. That I knew.
Not to be confused with the evil spies, the DVX.
Well, I have opinions about this Ben character, but I don't want to give anything away yet.
Oh, okay.
I did like his beard.
Oh, Ben was cute. Ben was very cute.
Yeah.
Both the guy, Ben and Tyler, the sportscaster guy, they were both very cute.
Yes. And this is what I liked about...
He has a beard.
And the husband of the sister.
Sabrina. This is what I loved about Sabrina, and we needed to have more Sabrina in this movie, actually. Mm-hmm. Because I love the part... So he's hanging out with his friends, and he's like, hey, do you guys want to hang out with us? And Angie's like, well, no, I'm going to go. And Sabrina's like, I'll stay and hang out with you. Mm-hmm. And she stayed.
They should have brought... This is how they could have had more Sabrina in this movie and made the movie a little bit better, is they could have had, instead of that Chloe character, they could have had Sabrina do the thing that they had Chloe do.
Right, like they could have been like best friends back in.
Well, no, that's not, I mean the task that they use Chloe for later in the movie.
Right, but they could have had it that Angie and Sabrina were like best friends as younger.
Yeah, and now they work together. Yeah.
So Angie's being a drip. She goes. Well, I guess she's not being a drip because she did have an 8-hour surgery and save someone's life and knock back a few martinis. So I guess it is okay that she's a little tired.
What kind of surgery was going on? Look like there's some kind of back surgery. We only got to see a little bit of this surgery.
They're removing a really tragic tramp stamp.
What were they doing?
They're removing a really tragic tramp stamp.
Oh, that's important.
So Angie goes to the train station. And she gets a ticket, and who's gonna sell her ticket? Doc.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim Ignatowski.
Yeah, and his first movie was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was great in that movie.
So
And now he's in this. But you know what? I was telling you guys earlier, Christopher Lloyd has been divorced 4 times, which to me explains why he's in this movie. But good for him. At like 82, 83, he's still working.
Yeah.
does he have like little kids?
I don't know.
Because you know how sometimes in
married
Hollywood
again.
marriages, in Hollywood marriages, you can be 70 and have a 2-year-old.
Well, and he, it may not even be a thing of, paying alimony or anything like that. It might just be he needs to do 1 or 2 movies a year just to keep his insurance.
His insurance, yeah.
Like, I heard a wild story last week that I didn't know that Mayim Bialik, before she was doing The Big Bang Theory, she wasn't really acting. She was focusing on, because she got her PhD in something. She's really smart. And
she's a scientist.
Yeah, so she wasn't going to act anymore, but her insurance was running out. She's like, oh, well, just go and do some auditions, maybe do a couple of jobs and just, hit my minimums to get my pension. And they sent me out in this audition and I ended up booking it, and then it became a series regular. It totally transformed my life.
And now I'm hosting Jeopardy.
I saw her at BookCon a couple years ago, but I was gonna say Christopher Lloyd. Imagine the residuals that this guy gets piling on. He's got Back to the Future movies, the Addams Family movies, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
True.
I mean, he must have made, at least on Back to the Future, he must make like 6 figures a year from residuals.
I don't know if features make the residuals the way, because I think features pay more up front. And they don't rerun as much as, say, if you're a cast member on Friends, for instance. That's a show that went for 10 seasons, 22 episodes a season, and it airs 5 days a week in countries around the world. Like, that's a show that you make a lot on residuals.
But the warden in Shawshank Redemption said he made 6 figures a year for 10 years.
Well, that's because TNT shows it 5 times a day.
They do. Back to the Future gets shown all the time. And you got 2 of them. You got Addams Family.
Right.
From Roger Rabbit. Yeah. Maybe he makes money on Taxi still. I got my residuals.
But, divorce is very expensive.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's probably a big reason why he keeps working. He's got like 6 projects in the works. The man won't stop. I won't stop.
Oh, so she's getting a ticket from him, and then he utters the through line of the movie. You know how they have like a pithy saying? So his saying was, sometimes what we want is not what we need. And I'm like, there's the through line of the movie.
What we want is not what we need. I still want it.
Right. So then she gets this old timey looking ticket, like a golden ticket. And she gets on the train and she falls asleep.
I like that when she's getting on the train, she hands the ticket to the conductor, who looks at it, doesn't recognize why the ticket looks so weird, but lets her on the train anyway. Like, she could have been a terrorist. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Oh.
Because he's probably like, this is the end of my shift. I just want to go home. It's cold.
This ticket looks insane, like you created it in Photoshop 5 minutes before you came here and printed it on your Epson. But sure, get on the train.
I am off in 5 minutes. And
I see that guy working.
I've worked a 12-hour day. I am off in 5 minutes. Just go. And I didn't see you or your ticket.
I don't care if you hand me a piece of construction paper. Oh, bookmark? All right, head on the train.
So then she gets on the train, she falls asleep, and she wakes up, and the train looks a little old-fashioned.
Yeah. And it's decorated for Christmas. They've got garland hanging inside the train.
Yes.
Garlic?
Garland.
Oh. Garland. That's
different. They've got garlic to keep away the vampires.
Yeah,
And her hair
Christmas
was different.
vampires.
Oh, I didn't notice the hair.
I didn't notice that either.
And
there was a spread of donuts, though. I have to stay on brand and say how much I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
Right? And then her boyfriend walks in. But It's her boyfriend from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's
the one
Tyler.
who's now a newscaster, a sportscaster.
Yeah.
No, Tyler.
Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Yeah. You're right.
And there was a kiss on the lips when they greeted.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which is allowed in a Hallmark
smooch.
movie because in this timeline of a time jump back in time, I said time a lot, she's officially with him as boyfriend, girlfriend, so they can show the kiss.
Right. And
they're not sharing a room later on, though. I noticed that.
no.
Yeah.
Hallmark is like, let's not get crazy, people.
Mm-hmm.
We said
They can
divorce. You can only do so much in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They can smooch, but that's about it. But they can't bump uglies.
So then, of course, she starts acting weird. She goes to Doc. He, at first, acts like he doesn't know what she's talking about. Then she goes to make a phone call, but it's her old phone. It's a 2011 phone. And it was small. I forgot
It was
that phones were
like the
that small.
iPhone, probably the 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think I brought this up before. If I was ever allowed to time travel, I wouldn't even know I went back. I'd still have still having my Discman, some old phone. We have a Discman. Let's go back in time. No, it's just 2021.
So she calls the number. She calls his number, but the number's a wrong number. And then
No,
she
it's
calls
not.
the
It's not.
hospital,
Oh, that's right. You should call it the hospital. Yeah.
and they're like, "Who the hell are you?"
Is that how they behave at a hospital? That's how they answer the phone.
I don't think they were quite that dismissive, but she was asking for her friend, and
appendix
they didn't
burst.
know who
Who are
she
you?
was. Yeah.
So she realizes that she is in 2011, which I was kind of like, 2011? You could have gone back to like 1981
Well,
or something.
Yeah, that's more exciting.
Well, yeah, but then that wouldn't work for the plot of this movie.
True.
Because one thing I have noticed, and this is a fairly new Hallmark trope, or being used more often, Hallmark trope is they will do this time travel magical element, but it's only traveling back to fairly recent past to basically say like, oh, what if I had made this other choice?
Right. So then her dad with the hair, who I think is good looking, her dad was waiting for her and for her and Tyler. And Tyler and the dad like hit it off immediately. And then they go home, they meet the family. I loved the dog. And I love how, because for those of you who don't know, Hallmark has a policy that the dogs that they use in these movies have to be rescue dogs. Mm-hmm. And so this was a rescue dog, and it looked like it was a purebred bulldog.
The dog's name was Boomer, which there used to be a TV show called Here's Boomer. So maybe it was a reference to that.
What was the premise of that?
It was on like the 80s. Here's Boomer.
It sounds like a sitcom.
Boomer.
I feel like I remember the title. I just remember who was in it or what it was about.
Well, it was a dog. Boomer was a dog in the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's
Wouldn't it
Boomer.
be cool though if like you went, "Okay, Boomer," and the dog would come?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Boomer.
So everyone is very happy in this movie, and then they cut to one of the million Jordan Sparks movies commercials that they had, and Jordan Sparks looked like she was happy too, and singing.
In fact, at one point, it wasn't real obvious that it was a commercial at first, because, most of them, they have the voiceover and you see the magical graphics on screen, but then they just showed a scene from the movie. They just
did.
cut right to a scene, and it felt like, oh, wait, who are these people in this movie that we're watching now?
So I'm like, they are really gunning hard for this movie.
I started watching it. I started watching this scene. I'm eating a lifesaver too.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go back from Jordan Sparks land. Tyler actually likes her family. Meanwhile, Angie is acting weird because she keeps on forgetting that she's in the past. And so she's still talking like she's in 2021.
So spazzy.
And so everybody is looking at her like, what the fuck is your problem? What are you talking about?
They have every right to.
And so then Angie says that actually this Christmas where she's at was her best Christmas ever. And so the sister is giving her the stink eye and kind of looking suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
They go Christmas tree shopping. They look for a Christmas tree, of course, to find the perfect tree because, it's a Hallmark family. Mm-hmm. And so she takes her little nephew to go see Santa. And the little nephew is saying how he wants a brother and a sister, and everyone's acting weird about it.
Yeah. Well, Santa, by the way, is Ben.
Santa is Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, the guy
that
she had run back into in New York City earlier in the movie. And Ben,
Santa's got a weird voice.
Did you notice? Like when you go see Santa, he's got like the red suit on with like the fuzzy white trim on and the red hat and the black boots. Right. What color gloves are Santa's gloves normally?
They're white, aren't they?
Yeah, they're white.
Yeah.
This Santa, played by Ben, was wearing black leather gloves like he just completed a heist.
Was Santa Daddy.
Yeah.
But he had a weird voice, too. He was like, I'm Santa. I don't know, there was something bizarre. I don't think that was the real Santa.
So Ben still had his beard, but it was just a little more like cleaner shaven. Still cute, still very cute, and
still
she introduced
straight.
Still straight,
Straight woke.
And so she introduces Tyler to Ben, and Tyler's actually jealous.
Yeah.
And
do we think Tyler is jealous of Ben or of Angie? Just wondering out loud.
I think he's jealous of their relationship.
No, I get the accusation. This didn't cross my mind.
I'm not accusing anything. I'm just asking a question.
No, just suspicions.
So then, you know how every Hallmark movie has an event? Mm-hmm. So the event for this movie was Aunt Mert's Christmas party. And Aunt Mert wasn't really their aunt,
no,
but everybody in the town called Aunt Mert, and her Christmas party was famous.
Aunt Mert, I don't think, had any real relatives, so she made it this like slogging obligation upon the town.
She had a granddaughter.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Her granddaughter was a pretty big character in this movie.
Chloe. Yes,
Chloe,
yeah. Okay, she did, yeah.
Because
here I am saying bad things about Aunt Mert.
And we meet Aunt Mert. So the joke is that they must have done a little meth before they did this movie, because this entire movie they were talking like a mile a minute. Yeah. And like literally, like I had to sometimes rewind it because they were talking that fast.
I'm not even trying to be dramatic when I say this. It was exhausting to watch. It truly was. So
then Chloe comes on the scene, and then I sent Chase the message saying, wow, Chloe did meth and coke.
Yeah.
Because she was like even more extra than the rest of them. So then, Chloe is Aunt Mert's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. I wrote she's hyper.
Yeah. Yes. So then, we find out that Ben's grandmother raised him, and so Angie's family basically took him in.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're all in the living room. They're watching Miracle on 34th Street, and we notice that the parents are a little distant from each other, to the point that her dad's like, I'm not sitting next to her. Like, it was pretty obvious.
Well, like Angie was sitting on the couch and the mom was there and the sister was there, but there was like clearly room for one more. She's like, Dad, come sit over and like sit next to Mom. And he's like over at his recliner on the other side of the room. He's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, he said he's got a magazine. I got my magazine. I don't want to sit next to her. I'm tired of that.
But then Angie wakes up and she's on the train out of nowhere.
Well, that just doesn't make any sense.
That was jarring.
Yeah.
And it was jarring every time they did it in this movie because there was nothing that led up to or I guess explained to us that these were the rules of this time travel universe, that, oh, we're going to keep visiting this train until you get things right.
Right.
No.
So this is where it turned into Quantum Leap, basically.
It should have been like she should just woke up in bed and like leaned over her bed, seeing that Christopher Lloyd was kind of like under the bed with his head sticking out.
Well, you know,
And they could have dialogue there.
his train conductor costume looked a little bit like the conductor on Thomas the Train on PBS. And I've never seen that show, but I've seen clips, and it always looks like the conductor is really miniature and like pops up in weird places. Is that how it is?
I think it does.
Yeah. So we could have
That
Christopher
Thomas-
Lloyd just like popping up.
Yeah, there's
That
no reason why
Thomas the Train
not.
looks disturbing. That face on that train.
Yeah. But this
It
isn't
really
Thomas, is because the conductor is a live action person. Like I think Ringo Starr played it one season.
George Carlin did it.
Yeah, Carlin did it.
Wow, so they get like good people to be the conductor.
Yeah. Maybe Christopher Lloyd is like, they won't hire me to be the conductor, so I'm going to do this Hallmark movie and I'll show them.
This is my audition.
So Angie is like, what the hell is going on? And all Christopher Lloyd says is, you need to appreciate this. And then she brings out her ticket, and it's only half a ticket.
Yeah, like in Back to the Future where the picture's fading.
It didn't even dawn on me until you said that right now, Kurt, that was completely ripped off from the movie.
Right.
I'm actually angry now that you point that out.
And so he said, until you put things right, which is basically Back to the Future and Quantum Leap, if once you put things right, the ticket will be a full ticket and you can go home. But if you don't,
I read. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I read that Corey Hart, the singer who did "I Wear My Sunglasses at Night," they were actually interested in having him play Marty McFly.
Oh,
They were offering him not offering the role, but they were pursuing him for like at least a screen test for it. But he didn't want to do it.
well, Michael J. Fox wasn't the first choice. It was Eric Stoltz.
Actually, Michael J. Fox
He was.
was the first choice, but couldn't do it, so they cast Eric
Yeah.
Stoltz and then fired him.
And then remember it was between Eric Stoltz and C. Thomas Howell. C. Thomas Howell almost got it.
But then
Crazy. It's crazy.
Michael J. Fox was like, "What do we do, baby, with our love?" La da da da.
I think that's Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams, not Michael J. Fox singing that.
Let's hear it for the boy.
Yeah.
You imagine how crazy the shoot was for Back to the Future, because basically they were shooting like around the footage they already shot, because they already shot pretty much. They shot most of the movie.
They filmed for 2 weeks before they fired him.
No, it was like 5.
No, it was like 2 weeks.
No, have you ever seen the stills? Because I also heard an interview with Tom Wilson, who was Biff, and he said that they were almost finished shooting the movie. And I've heard that I think I read the only thing they hadn't shot was like the opening scene, like the scenes that were in the 80s, like the beginning and the end. Because if you ever look at the still photos, the diner scenes, the mall parking lot scenes, the dance scenes, all that stuff is with Eric Stoltz in it.
There's a show. I've read a book about it, and there's a show on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us, and they did an episode on this last year. I may have to go back and rewatch that because I might be wrong in the timeline, but I didn't think they had shot most of the movie. I thought that they were a few weeks in where it was still a very expensive problem to have. And they basically went to Spielberg, and Spielberg went to because Spielberg was producing, not directing, and Robert Zemeckis at the time was coming off of things like Howard the Duck, so hadn't yet had a hit movie that he directed.
No. Robert Zemeckis didn't do Howard the Duck. He did Romancing the Stone before this movie.
Did he direct Romancing the Stone?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the timeline is all fuzzy.
With Joan Wilder.
But anyway, the point being that this series on Netflix, you should go watch it because it will.
I'll watch that.
Do it.
So then Angie gets off the train. She goes into this shop, and Ben is talking to a giant nutcracker. And then
That's not normal.
she tells Ben, I'm from the future. And Ben's like, what crack have you been smoking? And then Ben's like, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. And so then, meanwhile, Tyler is asking Angie's dad for permission to marry her. And so then we go back to Angie and Ben, and Ben's like, okay, so if you're from the future, you tell me something. And so she's like, you choke on a gumdrop and I save your life. And he's like,
is Tyler a good-looking guy? He kind of looks
Yes.
like
Oh,
a
yeah.
boy band member.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyler was back home talking about his career, and Angie's like, you need a catchphrase. And she gives him his catchphrase, which he ends up using in the future. So then all of a sudden, Angie is noticing some weirdness between her parents. So Angie's like, Mom, what's up? And Mom's like, oh, your father just needs his alone time. That's all. And once again, the little kid starts being a pain in the ass and asking her mother, who is upset because she can't get pregnant. He's asking his mother for a brother and a sister, as the mom looks like she's getting stabbed in the heart because she's finding out that her IVF treatments aren't working.
How many kids did she already have? 2?
One.
She had one.
No, she had one.
At the beginning of the movie, she has one, and they're trying to adopt a girl. So that's in the present day. And then when they go back in time, the boy that you see in the beginning of the movie is now much younger because it's 10 years earlier.
So he's 4.
Yeah. And we find out that they're trying to have another kid. That wasn't working. So then they were trying IVF, and that isn't working.
So, because they're making gingerbread houses or something. Yeah, it's like their gingerbread house making time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love gingerbread houses. In these
And
movies.
so they're there, and all of a sudden, Ben eats a gumdrop, and he starts choking.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angie runs over and gives him the Heimlich maneuver, and the gumball flies out of his mouth and hits Tyler in the face.
Yeah.
She also said that when Ben did his school play, his pants fell down by accident during the play.
Oh, I saw that
I
happen
don't know how
last
that-
week.
You saw somebody's pants fall down during
So
school
last
play?
week, I was at Palm Springs Gay Pride, and we were
When people's
sitting
pants
in
down
an
at Palm
establishment-
Springs Gay Pride, it would be rude if you didn't see that.
Well, no, it was, but
Probably
this
wasn't
wasn't
nice.
intentional though, because we were sitting in a restaurant eating, well, as the parade was going by,
Where's the story going?
and this guy was standing in front of the restaurant, and he goes to walk away, and as he's walking away, I guess he didn't belt his pants up tight enough, and they fell down.
I guess it does happen then.
And it was someone, and it was a butt that you didn't want to see.
Well, yeah. It rarely ever is. Like back when I was still going to a public a gym, if the people in the locker room that were always like disrobed or walking around ready to shower, it's never anyone that makes you comfortable looking at.
Right.
It's always some dude like
Tactful.
drying his balls in the hand dryer.
Oh, but drying their balls in the hair dryer? People aren't doing that.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes, Kurt,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the gym in a while,
Well,
so my balls are wet.
don't go to, if you don't want to see some balls drying, don't go to a gym in West Hollywood.
No, I'm going to avoid that. It sounds problematic.
Oh, so I did like Tyler because Tyler was spying. And he was spying on Ben and Angie. And Angie's sister catches Tyler spying, and she's like, don't worry about it. They're just friends. You'll be fine.
Well, this Ben is a problem for me. Because
Why?
there's a couple problems with Hallmark is presenting to their audience. Ben's not the kind of guy that gets a lot of girls. He's very
He's cute,
needy.
though.
He's too, doesn't matter. He's too needy. He's kind of clingy. it's not very feasible that she's going to end up with Ben unless it's out of desperation. And while we're at it, they're showing ads for some movie about some instant family that happens based on Ancestry.com. That doesn't always work out so well.
I've already done that. As a matter of fact,
Well,
I'm going to be seeing some of my Ancestry.com family over Thanksgiving.
I think for you it has. Yeah, for you it has worked out. But it's that's what do you call it? A crapshoot.
So as they were showing that commercial, I was like, oh, that's very 2019.
Yeah, you like doing that.
I loved it. I've actually met more cousins, actually. But yeah, I'm seeing some of them. We're going to New Orleans for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to see some of my Ancestry.com cousins while we're down there.
Wow.
Okay. So this next part,
Even Cheryl?
Angie was explaining that when Tyler proposed to her, because basically the story is Tyler proposed to her and she turned him down. And so this time Angie's like, if Tyler proposes to me, I'm going to say yes. So the story was that they were drinking champagne and Tyler put the engagement ring in some champagne. So they're out. Tyler orders the champagne and Angie goes to drink the champagne, but she thinks that there's a ring in there, but then she looks and there's no ring. Mm-hmm. And she's pissed. She's totally pissed. Mm-hmm. And then we find out that Tyler got a big sportscasting job and they need to go to Barcelona tomorrow.
Nice. Jump on that plane.
And then Angie's but Angie's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can go because this is a good Christmas and I can't just up and leave. And plus I got Aunt Mert's party to go to.
Yeah. And he said, you blockhead. I'm inviting you. And he'd say that. That'd be disrespectful. But it's like, skip Aunt Mert's party.
It was pretty just in terms of just logic. It was pretty insane that he got this network sportscasting job, and tomorrow we're sending you to somewhere that we probably would have had to do weeks of planning for anyone else.
And it's not like you take your passport with you to go to your parents' house.
Mm-hmm. Well, he brought a couple suits. I mean, I was surprised by that. So maybe he did bring a passport. Full suits.
Right. So then the next scene, Angie and her mom are wrapping gifts, and Leah Thompson is talking to Angie, and we find out that Angie is not the best sister in the world because Angie doesn't know a lot that's going on in her family. Like, she didn't know that her sister was having trouble getting pregnant and having IVF. Like, she didn't even know. And then we find out that, and this is very in-depth for a Hallmark movie, we find out that her 2 IVF embryos didn't make it. And I was like, wow, Hallmark, you're getting really deep. And so that was her last chance for IVF.
What does that mean? IVF?
In vitro fertilization.
Okay.
And it's it's a very stressful, painful process because, you get shot up with hormones and you've got to time everything and the embryo is implanted, but then there's no guarantee that it's going to stick. It's a whole, it's very hard and it's expensive too. So then, while Angie's sister and her husband are having the discussion about IVF, Angie is eavesdropping. So I'm like, okay, it's stepping up. There's a lot of eavesdropping going on. This is good. And Angie gets caught though. And then she's like, well, sis, why didn't you tell me that, you're trying to get pregnant and you were having trouble? And the sister's like, well, we were never close. So you probably wouldn't have cared anyway.
She said, that's true.
Well, she did cop to it, actually. And I kind of like that because she copped to it and she's like, you know what? I'll do better. And so this next part is dumb because the sister tells Angie that Tyler's jealous. And so then Angie concocts this harebrained scheme to make it look like Ben and Chloe are dating. And Ben and Chloe are in on this.
And this is where I was saying that they could have, instead of having this insane Chloe character, which really served nothing to the movie, if they're going to do this scheme, which didn't go anywhere, by the way, they did nothing with this plot point. But if they're going to do it, they could have had Sabrina come back and do it.
Right.
This was a scheme.
Yeah.
I thought this was like I thought Chloe really thought she was.
Yeah, well, she ended up
No.
liking him, but it was a scheme.
Oh.
So then they go to Aunt Mert's house to meet Aunt Mert, and who is there but Vicky from One Life to Live?
Aunt Mert is Vicky?
Aunt Mert was Vicky
Erica
from One
Slezak.
Life to Live.
I knew that one.
And I was like, oh my God, Vicky! Because I haven't seen Vicky in years.
In the face, she looks a little like a blown up Sissy Spacek, like her.
She's always looked like
face.
that. Like, she has not changed. I've been watching One Life to Live. I started watching One Life to Live like when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and Vicky has not, like, she looks the same. So I was like, oh my God, Vicky.
Vicky.
So then Angie, there is a lot of talking in this movie because then Angie's like, Dad, what's your problem?
So much exposition.
Yeah, it's a walk and talk with Dad. He's like, we like different things.
Dad, yeah.
This couple could get their shit together. Like, that's your problem. You like different things.
Right. He's like, she likes to go out.
You don't want to sit. You don't want to sit in a couch with. Sit down and shut. Yeah, some people have,
Because here's the deal. As a married person, having different interests is actually a good thing.
100%.
Because, I did the COVID thing where I was around my spouse 24 hours a day. And yeah, hobbies are good.
puzzles. Yeah.
You saying that is as veiled as me saying, so Ben and Tyler are playing straight in this movie.
Right, exactly.
A very tactful episode.
Yes.
But then when Dad tells Angie that the mom is getting on her nerves, Angie wakes up and she's back on the train.
At this point, it seemed like Angie and Christopher Lloyd were about ready to make out.
Well, that would have been Lifetime.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
You took the wrong Christmas train.
Christopher Lloyd was leaning in.
These cutaways to the train, I'm guessing they did it because they wanted to have more Christopher Lloyd in the movie, but they were pointless. Once you got the premise of the movie established early on with him, you don't need him to come back until the end of the movie when it's all wrapped up.
Well, you know what it is. They probably shot all the scenes in one day, so they're shooting them all in this stupid train. That's probably what happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
so he had like the Eric Roberts contract?
Yeah,
So they're
but
not going to fly him out to some other location.
no, I'm not saying that he needed to appear in their world. I'm saying you didn't need this much of his character in the movie.
Oh, you didn't need him at all.
No, well, you just didn't need that to go back to the train to establish that she's back in time. We already know that. Like,
Yeah,
we
because
already
he
get
didn't
the
advance
rules
the
of this
plot.
are she needs to fix something in her past so she can move on to the future. You don't need to keep going back to that saying, nope, didn't fix it yet.
Because, her going to him, he did not advance the plot at all.
Right.
No. You're going to go back to the train.
So then she goes back in time again. She goes back, and then they're having like a secret Santa thing.
It's a white elephant.
Which they had to
And-
explain to Tyler.
Right.
They explained to Tyler what the white elephant is.
Yeah.
Which
White
didn't.
elephant in the room.
So someone regifted Angie the snowman jewelry box, which turned out to be a jewelry box that Ben gave her when they were kids.
Yes.
Yeah, the gift was like this Frosty the Snowman box that she found in the attic. Dug it up in the attic. Here's your gift.
Well, that for a white elephant, that is an appropriate gift. Because a white
That's what they
elephant
do?
gift is a white elephant party is like, sometimes the gift is amazing, sometimes it's crap, sometimes it's like, huh? And that's part of the fun of it, is then you're then stealing gifts from each other.
Right.
But then who knows what to get? So everybody gets an assignment. You get the shitty gift. You buy the shitty gift. You buy
Sometimes.
the nice gift.
Like, I've gotten plenty of white
Really?
elephants, and sometimes I get great gifts, and sometimes I get pure junk.
Oh, all right.
So then they're having a family snowball fight. But when Tyler throws a snowball at Angie, it's actually not a snowball. There's a ring inside of it.
Let's back to the Frosty the snowman jewelry box for a quick second, because there's a candy bracelet in the box when Angie opens it, and then Ben asks her if there's more in there, and Angie says no, and that's an important plot point later.
Oh yeah, true. Then they're
Sorry
having
about the
family
proposal.
snowball
Yeah,
fight.
True that.
And Tyler throws the snowball, but there's actually an engagement ring in the snowball. And he proposes. Angie says yes. They're engaged. Ben is sad.
And then Aunt Merc gets hit in the head with an ice ball and ends up in the hospital for a week.
But
And she has no
then
health
it is
insurance.
a violent turn for a Hallmark movie.
She's got no health insurance either, so she's like,
Aunt Merc
Best
is
situation.
Victoria Lord, and she's one of the richest people in the United States because she is from the Lord Publishing Dynasty.
who?
And
Aunt Mert.
Vicky.
She's from the Lloyd Publishing.
She's from the Lord. She is Victor Lord's daughter, and she's
Oh, the
from the
Lord's
Publishing
books, like the
Dynasty from Landview, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Vicky is.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so Angie looks at her ticket. It's still not. She thought that when she accepted the engagement, that was her unfinished business, but that's not, because the ticket is still like half gone. And so then Angie's talking to her mom, and Angie's like, okay, Mom, what's up with you and Dad? You guys are having weird sexual energy. You're not
she said
talking.
I don't think she said
What
that at
the
all.
hell is going on?
Weird sexual energy?
Yeah.
And so then the mom once again is like,
Well, that's good.
we've grown apart. And then she shows this picture, and it's a picture of the parents, but it turns out that this was when they first met at Aunt Mert's first Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Tyler, meanwhile, is still pressuring Angie to leave with him. And she's like, no, Aunt Mert's party is tomorrow, and you need to go. And then and Angie is having, later than Angie's having coffee with Aunt Mert. And you could tell Aunt Mert's giving her a look like, okay, this guy isn't right for you.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with Aunt Mert. I think he was the right guy for her. She's like, where do you fit in? Shut up, Aunt Mert.
Well-
My man has a job and he's successful. What the fuck are you talking about, Aunt Mert? And then I would take the coffee to splash in her face.
Aunt Mert was very rich, though.
If I was Angie.
But the reason why Aunt Mert was saying this was because throughout their coffee, Tyler kept on getting phone calls and getting up and leaving the table.
Yeah. Tyler's
Because
being
he has a
rude.
job. Sorry, Aunt Mert. He has a job.
So does Ben.
Yes.
What's his job?
He goes there and becomes a corporate lawyer.
Oh, okay. That's a job.
Yeah.
But not, he's not doing that now.
No. But she's not a surgeon yet either. Like, they have to actually finish their schooling to go do that.
Oh, I'm saying he's taking phone calls because he's working at that moment.
Right.
I don't know. And I wouldn't I'm not saying it's hot coffee I'm throwing in Mert's face. It's, lukewarm. I'm not trying to injure somebody.
Well, you know what, though? If you threw hot coffee in Vicky's face, she'd turn into her alternate personality, Nikki. And Nikki would kick her ass.
Well, I would throw hot coffee in Nikki's face, but that's the only exception I'd make. Otherwise, I don't advocate hot coffee in people's faces.
Nikki was Vicky's tough other personality. who was a
I knew a
prostitute.
girl named Nikki. Well, I knew a girl named Nikki. Some say that she was a sex fiend. I met her in a hotel lobby masturbating in a magazine.
Thank you, darling Nikki.
Okay.
You like
Oh, so they're getting ready for Aunt Mert's party. Leah Thompson can't find her dress, and because obviously Angie and her sister hid it, and so Angie's like, "Oh, you can't find your dress? Well, I
you're
have
naked
a
in all
dress
the right
for
moves.
you."
Do it again. Yep.
And so
A deceitful daughter. She hid the dress.
But she was using her powers for good.
Yeah.
Because then Leah Thompson shows up at the party wearing the dress, and it was the dress that she was wearing when she first met her husband. And I got to say, that is very impressive, though, to be able to fit into your dress from 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice dress.
And she had to make it, because I was like, and I wrote here in my notes, you see, because the dad was like, boing, like, what's going on? You're beautiful. And I was like, see, all it took was a makeover.
Well, as I said, I would be willing to engage in amorous excursions with Leah Thompson. So,
Well, the dad couldn't take his hands off of her. All it took was makeup, an updo, and a red dress.
yep, put a little lipstick. You got to slut it up. You know, she should learn that from the end of Grease.
She should slut it up for
This wasn't a
Christmas.
slutty dress, though.
Huh?
Slut it up for Christmas.
Yeah, slut it up for Christmas, and then that's like, what guy doesn't like that?
But this dress looked more like a Grecian goddess dress.
Grecian, like we're talking about Olivia Newton-John again.
No, like Zeus and all those people.
Oh, that's different.
Zeus TV.
Right?
Zeus, like Blac Chyna.
Yeah.
Just like Blac
Tony.
Chyna.
No, Blac Chyna has graduated and she's on WeTV now.
Okay.
Anyway, so then it's time for the obligatory Christmas party speech. So Aunt Mert is giving her speech, and her speech is all about Tyler and Angie, and Tyler is actually outside on the phone.
But he didn't know they were going to give a speech about him.
But this is the part that I caught, because Tyler's outside. It's really cold. He's wearing a suit. Angie walks outside. They're talking. She's kind of shivering. And I wrote in my notes, the asshole did not give her his coat. He should give her his coat. And then when he leaves, Ben comes out. And the first thing Ben does is gives her his coat.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's slight defense of Tyler. Angie did break things off with him at that point.
Well, because
She broke it off with him then?
her coat.
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
Yes,
She did that like in their bedroom. In her bedroom, she ended things with Tyler. Right?
Oh, wait. No, you're right, Kurt. It was in like the next day that he broke up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they go because Ben and Angie go back into the house.
Oh,
The
is this
dad's
where
playing
Ben
piano.
is telling her that he and Chloe fake broke up,
Yeah,
and her uncle is going to hook him up with a job? There you go. Okay.
yeah. And it's a corporate lawyer job. And Angie was like, "Are you sure you want to take this corporate lawyer job? You've always wanted to do family law." And Ben was like, "Well, hey, it's a job, and I'm going to just go for it." And so then the dad is playing piano, and people are acting like they've never heard anyone play piano before. And then
We were wondering what that large thing was in our room. Now we know. It makes noise.
and then the sister decides that, you know what, I'm not going to do IVF anymore because it is just, it's a lot.
I'm going to steal a
It takes a
child at
lot
the
out of
mall.
me, and it's expensive. And so then Angie was like, well, if you want a family, there's a lot of different ways to have a family. You don't need, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to have a family if you really want one.
You could get a cat.
Right? A puppy.
Sure.
So then Angie wakes up again on the train. And she looks at the ticket, and the ticket is still a half a ticket. And then she goes back, and Tyler's like, hey, come on, Angie. Our taxi to Barcelona is waiting. And this is when Angie like, I'm not going.
She says, that's it. Well, she starts saying, you're an incredible, you're an amazing man. So, oh, come on.
Ugh.
And she says, I can't, but you'll make someone else so happy. But then she says, he said he wants her. So I want you, not an incredible woman. So
that was funny.
And then they just end things. And then he goes out in his Uber and sobs.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, the guy's holding it until he gets in there. Just drive.
And then it just freezes into icicles on his cheek.
Right. So then Ben and Angie are talking. Oh, no. Angie and her sister are talking. And Angie's sister's like, this note was actually at the bottom of the white elephant gift.
She actually referred to it in this scene, I kid you not, as, wait for it, the Frosty Box.
Yes.
Which would make a great drag queen name. Frosty Box.
That's what they should have called the movie, the Frosty Box.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
That's why I pointed it out.
Yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
So then it's a note from Ben saying, Angie, I love you. I've always loved you. Blah, 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 blah.
Too needy.
And then Angie's like, you know what? I've always loved Ben too. And then she looks down at her ticket, and the ticket was a whole ticket.
Bad move. Should have gone with Tyler, or find someone else. This Ben is emasculated. He's too needy. Unless you just want someone to boss around.
So now that the ticket's complete, she has to get to the train like right now. But she's on her way to the train. She calls Ben on the phone and says, "Listen, Ben, don't take Chloe's dad's offer. Don't become a corporate attorney. And I love you."
Unemployment.
And so then Ben is like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And so this is the part that I thought was kind of stupid, because Angie's like, "Okay, so 10 years from now, meet me at this restaurant."
Yeah.
Which, okay, so if she went back to the future, wouldn't Ben just need to talk to her parents in the past and say, "Hey, can I get Angie's number?" Because she's in college.
Well, I think he probably would have had her number still at that point.
Right. So
I think she forgets.
Right. So it could have been like, "I'm going back to the future, but call me in an hour."
Yeah. Call me in an hour, and old me will reconnect with you, while future me goes back into my new future life, which will include you.
Right. So,
but at least we got some really mediocre CGI.
Right, because he shows up at the train, and the train like goes through like a porthole.
Yeah.
So then Angie wakes up. Everyone is there. Oh, Angie wakes up. She goes back to the hospital. She calls home. Everybody's there. So everybody's there, including the dad. So the mom and dad are together.
And the daughter and her new niece, which we didn't see earlier in the movie.
Yeah, there's a baby. So she adopted a baby.
Thanks to Ben.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And so, Ben turns out to be a family attorney. And then Angie gets a call from Sabrina, and she's like, "Look, Angie, get down here now. There's a surgery that you need to do." So Angie goes, she does the surgery, and then after she finishes the surgery, she's like, "Uh-oh, Sabrina, I'm late for my date. I gotta go." And so then Angie shows up at the restaurant, and the restaurant is closing, and she thinks that she missed her shot. But then Ben is like, hey, Angie, you're here. And it turns out that she and Ben are a couple. The end.
Well, then we see Christopher Lloyd, too. They walk past him. He's like,
that's right.
This next part, shined.
Right. They walk past, and he's getting his shoe shined, and I was like, he's going to look at the camera and wink. Yeah. And then he looked at the camera, and he winked.
Crispin Glover should have played Ben, and Tom Wilson should have played the dad. And the guy with the 3D glasses who was hanging out with Biff in Back to the Future, I don't know. He should have been in there somewhere. That guy's name was Casey something. Wasn't Billy Zane in Back to the Future too? He was in there.
He might have been one of Biff's buddies. Well, you know that Melora Hardin, who played Jan on The Office, was originally cast as Marty's girlfriend, but when they recast Eric Stoltz, she was like far too tall, and I think there was like a timing issue too with schedules, so she wasn't able to do it when Michael J. Fox came on board.
Wouldn't that suck though if you're doing your gig and you're actually doing a decent job at your gig, but when the star goes, so you got to go too?
Yeah,
that would so suck. I'd be so pissed because it's like I'm showing up and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the biz.
Life is tough. So that was it.
It was.
I wanted to see Christopher Lloyd so bad. He was in Massachusetts this past summer, and he was doing Shakespeare. He was playing like King Lear or something.
Wow.
I'm King Lear. I wanted to. I wasn't able to get up and see it. I wanted to make a special trip to see that.
Well, you know, isn't there a reason you need to go to Boston for? There's a trial in Boston that you need to go.
No, he
to.
missed that one.
Boston though. Yeah. He wasn't in Boston. He was like like somewhere like East Massachusetts.
Like the Berkshires?
The trial was the Lori Loughlin one. That one's over.
Oh, okay. Well, you never made it to Boston, Kurt.
What was it, King Lear? Let's see that's what he did.
Well,
I didn't.
Well, Lori Loughlin is at the new channel with all the Hallmark traders.
It was King Lear. Here's a review that came in. Yes, Christopher Lloyd as King Lear was a bad idea, says TimesUnion.com.
Oh,
well. Well, I still would have enjoyed it, I'm sure. I wanted to see it.
Oh.
I thought it was a good idea for me.
Well.
Oh, well.
But, yeah, so this movie, like, you know, it wasn't the worst thing we've watched.
No.
It didn't piss me off. But, you know, it wasn't.
I know we shouldn't do this, but this is from, so here's the review, Times Union, Lenox, Massachusetts. It starts out by saying, a dead weight at the center of Shakespeare and Company's production of King Lear drags down the entire show. Its name is Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, that's awful.
Let's not disparage
Continue
him.
reading. That's awful. Continue.
Oh, no.
What's that? Can he say continue?
Yes, please.
This keeps coming up as stupid. Hold on. The announcement of the 82-year-old Lloyd's casting to star as the age-raging monarch for a 2-month run certainly raised interest and eyebrows. The actor, after all, is best known for playing kooks, including Jim in the sitcom Taxi and Doc Brown in the Back to the Future films. The character of Lear may be interpreted in many ways, but lovable weirdo isn't one of them. Just maybe the thinking went the powers that be at Shakespeare and Company and the producer's director, who had a 9-year record of directing, knew something the public didn't, but they did not.
Oh.
They're not happy with this.
So
anyway, it goes on. It's a long review. They weren't happy with him.
Well, sorry, Chris. We like you. Well, not in this movie, but we like
do.
him.
It's clear
I
that
actually
Lloyd
liked him in this movie.
Lear.
I just didn't think his character, it was necessary to have him so much in the movie.
No.
Yeah.
You know what, though? If his character was Jack Hay, then it would have been all good.
Jack A should have been Aunt Mert.
Right? Like, you need to beat up.
Oh, I have to follow up with my connection that might know her.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, until that happens, Les, how can people find you?
You can find me on my website, leskirkendallbarrett.com, or you can find me on Insta at Kirkendall. Jason.
Oh, we hinted at this last week, and now it is official. We have hit over 20,000 downloads of our podcast.
Yay!
And part of that is because of fine listeners like you who have gone on and rated us and reviewed us 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. You can find us all on Instagram and Facebook at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Christopher Lloyd is a great actor, and I do not agree. I say perhaps Lloyd will improve over the remaining 35 performances, and perhaps he won't need a prompter to call out lines, as happened twice on opening night. It's
No!
King Lear. He's 83 years old. He's doing King Lear. It's challenging. He asked for lines twice.
No! Oh my God. Okay, that's not good.
Well, I'm just reading this review that was written, but I'm a big fan of Christopher Lloyd. That's it. I don't have anything to plug. I plug Christopher Lloyd's career.
Because after all, Betty White always knows her lines. And she's 90-something.
She's 99.
She's Shakespeare.
Yeah. Oh,
She turns 100 next year.
99. And she always knows her lines.
9.
Anyway. Oh, and by the way, it is Christmas season. We have an onslaught of Christmas movies. So, listeners, if there is a specific commercial that you've seen, a movie, either on Lifetime or Hallmark, a Christmas movie that you want us to watch, let us know. Because we have like a gajillion Christmas movies coming up to choose from.
And I would also piggyback onto that and say, even if it's not Lifetime or Hallmark, if it's one of those style of holiday movies that they do, because a lot of other places are doing them, like Netflix has a few this year as well, that is in the same sort of wheelhouse as these holiday movies, let us know, because that might be in the mix too.
Because I am definitely open to opening it up to Netflix this year, because Netflix actually I watched a few of their Christmas movies last year, and they actually had a couple of decent ones.
I think they have one with Lindsay Lohan this year.
Yes. Oh, we are watching that no matter what. Yes, that is definitely on the list. So, yeah.
So just go on our Facebook page, Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast, and let us know there.
Yeah. We're
let's
open to it.
I'll watch one of them.
And I guess that's it for today. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.